Well, good afternoon and welcome to this special edition of Islandstad Sports Talk. I'm your host, Earl Based, and joining me is Gary Adams, the Bermuda U17 women's national coach in Mexico at this time. Gary, 2 games down. Obviously, you knew this was going to be a tough challenge for the ladies. But what thus far in the 2 games that you've played, and I guess in the training sessions that you've had in Mexico, what has been the big plus for you?
I mean, obviously against Mexico, we were under no illusions, all right, of the quality of the players and the team they had. And I mean, they showed it. So I think the positive for us was intrinsically to fight the girls shared the shirt against Mexico just to keep going, and I think a lot of them put in some effort they probably never done, and just trying to keep some type of defensive shape as long as possible. It was a good positive to see them kind of working together for one. Haiti, if I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean. So we took the positive out of Mexico, try to keep its shape as long as we can, staying together, regardless of the result. You know what I mean. If I'm honest, I'm very disappointed in the Haiti game. A couple simple mistakes cost us the goals. I mean, you give away 2 penalties, especially when you're upper man, which was rough. Simple old school things of just not marking your player, right? That we need to be mentally switched on about, and also just being forced to the girls, like, listen, you're upper man, you got to keep the ball. We need to keep better possession, be technically better. So it kind of helped us reinforce little things we need to get better at. So some positives that we have 8 players who are able to attack, which is good. But it also highlighted some folks that we need to fix that. So a lot of good lessons learned, regardless of the school.
Sure. Now you got Costa Rica tomorrow, the final game. But from your standpoint, and I guess being in the coach's realm of the academy, what would we have to do to number one, continue to get out of the group stage, early stages, and continue to play these teams at this level?
To be honest, I find that absolutely we need to get technically better. That's very simple on that side. A little bit fitter. We need to train more, which is I believe the goal going forward. But we need to be technically better, hands down. Like, I mean, I don't know I know this is probably an anomaly, but the left center back for Mexico, I mean, she's making like a 50, 60-yard switch of play, putting the ball on a dime to the right back, is bringing it on 1 touch. You know what I mean? They're playing 2 touch, left foot, right foot. Mm-hmm. So fundamentally, we need to be technically better. And that's the only way we can get tactically better to continue to progress.
Yeah. Slight disadvantage at times because, I mean, for years, I remember speaking with Coach Kita, Vance, and, other coaches, especially with the females. They train a lot, but with nothing in sight. When I say nothing in sight, it's almost like you're waiting around to have a game, and to convince someone to be fit all the time, it's kind of difficult. But now with a program in place where that you guys could see when your next international event or matches, and what about training matches and because I mean I know you guys are playing under 15 boys a lot and stuff like that, but you also need that incentive that's gonna kind of push the girls that are fighting for spots to push them a little further.
No, absolutely. So we need more consistent, higher competition games. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's the only way we're gonna get the experience to their girls. What we talked about the other night out to Haiti, of just game intelligence. Right. Game intelligence. Like, use the example: we're up a man and we're kicking the ball long or we're rushing it. So like we need to be able to enjoy the ball and take our patience, right? Mm-hmm. And just being in those situations more. So, like you said, playing more competitive games. We can play the under 15 boys here and there, but the team needs to be together. They need to be playing more competition. So, yeah. And to be honest, even myself included, there's a lot of lessons learned from a coaching perspective. Having conversations with coaches out here, The sessions we need to do, the intensity that is required of them, have to be higher.
Hmm.
But as you just said, and I agree, we need to make sure there's some type of outcome. We do all this training, get thrown into a competition where we need to be tested, refined, tested, refined, tested,
Hmm.
refined, right?
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah. But okay, so from your standpoint, and that's a good thing you brought up about speaking with other coaches, because you get an opportunity when you get to this level to speak with guys who have been at this journey, a little longer, or their road has been a little more challenging because they have won the numbers, the
mhm,
all the other elements that you're kind of fighting against to get to where you're getting to today, but just their journey, you get to experience that and rubbing, just rubbing ideas off of each other. Give us a sense of what's those type of training sessions that they've indicated the high intensity. How do you go about that? Because you don't have the girls all the time.
mhm. So it's interesting that you mentioned intensity because I had a good conversation with the Mexican fitness coach.
Yes.
Um, so there's two things with that. Obviously, the science behind it, the strength and conditioning aspect that I believe we need, which starts at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously the strength and conditioning aspect is huge, and Mexico's doing obviously they had the resources to back it up, right? But
Yes.
you can go deep into the science. Like they need the strength component to endure the intensity that's going to be required, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and that starts from a young age. But also the intensity. One thing and they do have the privilege of doing this is the girls individually have to have the desire to put that in,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, the old adage, you can lead a horse to water, but these girls here in Mexico said every single one of them wants to play professional football.
Right.
So they put the desire. So with that, he gave us ideas of just like little how to structure sessions and how to try to make things more competitive. So it's intense while having fun, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is required. We all play the game to enjoy it. So at the same time,
Yeah. Well,
trying to maximize it.
yeah, as I said, we have Costa Rica tomorrow. Any injury concerns going into the final match?
Yeah, I mean, right now, for those who did see the match, Daily Bridge, she's most likely going to be out. She had a nasty contact with the goalkeeper. We just think
Uh-huh.
she got nothing serious in the sense where she's out of commission, like a messed up tear or anything, but we just believe she has a very deep burn bruise and she's unable to walk normally. So, but besides that, everybody else is in healthy and good spirits. They
Mhm.
understand that we need to try to finish on a high note, give our best foot forward. But we also have to really respect Costa Rica because they're a very good technical team.
Mhm.
Whereas Mexico kind of played a bigger professional outlook, in my opinion, of the game.
Right.
Costa Rica's going to try to play through, and they're technically good enough to get through. So we're going to have to be really mentally engaged on that.
Yeah. Having the girls to understand their assignments, how challenging has that been for you?
Um, I think the frustration, let me say that, it's getting them to stick to the game plan.
Uh-huh.
So they're all capable, but we just need to play more cohesively.
Mm. Mm.
So I don't want to be shouting all the time on the bench, you know what I mean? But as of so far this moment, I think they've done relatively well. We're trying to keep the shape, do what they did. We've asked, but I do think it generally does come back to what we mentioned earlier: more competitive games, more
Mhm.
game intelligence, more experience, and then the game will be a little bit easier. So
Sure, sure. Let me ask you this question, and this will be, I mean, your opinion of the women's game in Bermuda. Do you think 3 months of football or 4 months of football is enough competition wise, or should the women be playing equally of the men and probably play 3 or 4 times each other throughout the season?
absolutely, I think if Bermuda was in a blessed place to have the numbers, I would love to see the women have their own league. You know what I mean? And I'm
Mhm.
sure they would as well, right? Um, because it's like anything, the more you do it, the better you get, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think it'd be good to get more people out to games, more families involved, um, enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the sport, right? Watching it grow.
Hmm.
But I also think, say, for the academy level, the under 17 girls or the under 20s or even under 15s, at a young age, they need to be playing higher level with the boys.
Hmm.
Maybe the academy girls, maybe they should have a team in the under 13, under 15 boys league.
Right.
'Cause they need to be challenged physically more,
Mm.
because we can always train as much as we want, but the only way you get better is iron sharpens iron, right? So we
Yes.
need to be constantly tested against the boys of fitter. The boys are a little bit more technically better, if you want to say that. So
Hmm.
we need to be challenged in order for them to get better. And finding a good way of mixing the girls' league, but having girls involved with the boys so they get challenged, right? Without
Sure.
overdoing it realistically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So what have you learned more about yourself on this leg than you did in the qualifiers? Because obviously, every day in football is a learning day for
mhm.
players and coaches. So what have you learned about yourself um, coming into this stage of the qualifiers?
For myself, definitely the discipline and well, the reality of the teams that we're playing against, right?
Hmm.
So I think reflection against Mexico, to be honest, not much I think we really could have done, and I don't think there's no shame in saying that.
Hmm.
Like when I spoke to the head coach, well, the fitness coach, sorry, after the game, he's, what are you gonna do against Mexico? 4-4-2. We stay defensive, and we tried to do as much as we could. Haiti, honestly, I look back, I probably pushed the girls a little bit too much.
Mm.
I thought we could have hit Haiti at the front, but maybe we went too much and the girls couldn't catch their breath. So even myself, a little bit more of the game discipline, game organization, you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Right.
So, which is good, because it's not, you got to be a smarter game for sure, right?
Yeah.
At this level. So, and it took a lot of good lessons, but I also believe when we played Haiti, I do believe we had a genuine chance of getting our first points.
Mm.
So maybe
Yeah.
overdid it in my own excitement, which
Right.
pushed them. So, just myself to remain calm, right?
Sure. And obviously, again, that last game tomorrow, I want to wish you all the best. You and the girls all the best. Obviously, we support you because you're doing us proud at this level. It's a test for these girls. First time, as you know, I've noted that Mexico's been at this level 8 times. They've been to
Yeah.
and so is Costa Rica and Haiti. They've numerous times that we're still kind of just tapping the water, putting our toes in the water at this level, and it's something that we have to keep learning and doing. Once we continue to gradually get out of the group stage to this round, I think that's when the expectations become a little higher. And eventually we will get there. It's just giving the girls the opportunities, and as well as the coaches, the whole unit, the
Hmm.
opportunities to continue to progress.
Yeah, and hearing that this is actually a blessing in the sense where this tournament is going to happen every year for the next 5 years till 2030.
Hmm.
The World Cup qualifiers used to be every 2 years, so it gives us a chance to put your best foot forward, take your
Hmm.
lessons, go home, practice. Next year, come again and do the
Right.
same thing for the next 4 years. And at the step, regardless of the results we're looking forward to, we've had a lot of learning, like a lot of lessons ourselves.
Hmm.
And you know what? I want to shout out to some of the players as well, because I'm not sure people realize that Nyla Samuels, who scored the goal against Haiti, she's 14.
Mm.
Milan Gibbons, the striker's 14. Daly Olibridge is 14. Antu Barry's just going 15.
Mm.
Um, Obviously, the other backup goalkeepers are 15 years old.
Right.
Janaya Sealy's just still 15. Evans Roach is still 15. So we're going to have these girls for at least another tournament or two.
Right.
And this experience hopefully should allow them to be leaders next year, and we can just build on this.
Sure. And hopefully, they stick to it, understand what they went through this time, come back
Mhm.
home, work at it, work wherever they have to work at, and they grow on it. And next year, there's an improvement in their not just their game, but their whole mental, physical
Mhm.
attitude towards approaching this type of tournament. So,
Yeah,
again, hang in there, brother. Hey, listen, everybody's here supporting.
Thank you. And again, just before you go, we told the girls this is the standard we need to be at. We need to be
Mhm.
qualifying for the championship round every year. And I'll put my hands up and even say it. The last round that we qualified, we were fortunate to qualify as the second place team.
Mhm.
And if I'm completely honest, I don't think the girls really played any real proper organized football that I think they're capable of.
Mhm.
So we threw the gauntlet down that if we can fight to get to this level, what could happen if we could actually be a little bit technically better and potentially play better football, right? We
Right.
should be competing where we are. So that's our challenge to get them up. And like you said, be here at this level every year.
All right. Okay, brother. I know you're busy. Got training, so thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your time. Good luck tomorrow. We'll be watching and supporting, and
Mhm.
we'll see you on your return.
I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you, everybody. Have a good
All
day.
right. Have a good
Take
one.
care.